Welcome back. Yes. So any reflection, guys?
This conflict, are we talking about the psychological conflict or a real conflict in life, outside conflict?
So the very meaning of conflict is depleting energy. Any event or any phenomena that is termed as a conflict, where it depletes energy more than the natural flow. So any action, for that matter, like we can actually try and understand these in terms of three executions: action, sensation, and perception. If an action is very effortful, like one start considering or experiencing a lot of effort, consideration is also one experience, but otherwise also, if an action is very effortful, how long one can continue with that? One cannot continue with an action which requires a lot of effort. So it is considered as a conflict. Same goes for the sensation. Sensation, if it is rising and dissolving, then it is effortless. The moment sensation is repeated, overburdens.
That is the nature of sensation, that it comes and dissolves.
Yes.
How
Yes.
would it, why would it become a compulsive, obsessive thing unless it is interfered by perception and other things?
Yes. So
Ideas.
when any perception is not probed into, if we use that word, what is the meaning of probing into? Probing into means the endeavor to own it. And how a perception can be owned? How a perception can be owned? A perception can be owned only through the roots of understanding, through the roots of awareness, and which is an unending process. Which is an unending process. But the beauty of it is in the process. When one keeps on probing into a perception without any destination, like there will not be any point where one can claim that I have understood everything. Actually, that is a fact. How can one claim that he or she has understood everything or completely aware? In a process of being aware is a fact. So when one assimilates with this fact, when one assimilates with this fact, it doesn't bring any effort in the process. When that owning or probing is stopped, that means this external ideation, I'm not probing, I'm just accepting it as a burden. This becomes a burden because it can never be owned by the individual. Like as if you are eating plastic. It is going into the stomach, but the stomach is not able to work on it. It is just overburdening the digestive system. So any idea without probing, when we just take it as it is, it's a burden actually. It brings conflict. Just to yes. So any reflection, Renuka, Shanta, Nandini, Binal, Deepa? Should we go into the yes?
So some of the knowledge or facts,
Yes.
we don't probe into those facts, and so they're ideas in a way, because I have not
For
really.
example,
Example. Something which is scientifically some other person's knowledge, which is not my knowledge.
Mhm.
Einstein's formula
Mhm.
of relativity,
Mhm.
or which is that can never be my perception, in which case.
Yes. So how do I look at it?
I'm getting all confused in idea, fact, knowledge, perception.
Right? So any scientific per se, like the meaning of scientific is something which is always probed into. Scientific science, if we look at the actual meaning of science, nothing is
By
stagnated.
others, but I've not probed into those.
Yeah, that's fine. But how am I looking at it? How am I looking at it? Am I looking at it so that is what is the inquiry. Inquiring mind is not just merely list of questions. It is a questioning mind. Questioning mind doesn't need a list of questions. Exactly. Like it cannot be replicated. I cannot give you a list of questions and see these questions. If you implement into your life, then the inquiry is reinstated. That cannot be termed. It's a very inner state of being where one looks at it at the deeper level and the deeper level and the deeper. There's no end to it. Whenever it seems that, okay, I have reached somewhere, another point or another progression is revealed further, and one is going in that journey. So any proposal, be it is E equals to mc square or Sambhavami Yuge Yuge or whatsoever, some proposal is coming. How am I looking at it? The innate knack is looking at it with inquisition. Okay, what it is, let me understand it. No matter from whom it is coming. That is the inner innate state of being. Now, under any influence, if I tell myself that, okay, this persona is a great persona, or this script has been accepted by millions of people over the thousands of years, and for that basis, I must take it without probing. That's merely another idea that I'm succumbing. Now, coming to the dissolving of conflict. Now, if the conflict is a burden, and if we look at the natural progression of conflict, then we see in nature, in every phenomena, including living organism or otherwise also, the duration of conflict is the least. Duration of homeostasis is the most. Duration of balance is the most. There is a movement in between homeostasis and the conflict, but the duration of homeostasis or the balance is the most. So it proposes that there is a movement of conflict also. There is a movement of conflict. There is a natural movement of the conflict also, which brings a shorter duration of stay of conflict. Naturally. Can we understand this? The natural movement. What is the meaning of natural movement?
Say someone who is born with some genetic disorder, for that person, the duration of homeostasis vis-a-vis the duration of conflict, maybe the one in homeostasis would be lesser in duration than the one in conflict. So is
Yes.
it generally that you are talking about, like, and on, is it from a space of observation that this is what we see around? That there is
Yes,
more-
for that individual who is by birth who is having some what would we call it? I'm reluctant to use the term defect, but a state of being which is in compared to the human species, it is some kind of capacity or lack of capacity, inadequacy. So see, I'm struggling to phrase it also without comparison. Without the word comparison, I'm struggling to phrase it also. Do you observe this? I'm not able to phrase without the word comparison. Now, if we remove that comparison factor, interspecies and intraspecies both, then it is just the state of being for that individual. And that individual will lead to a state of homeostasis if that individual is alive on its own. So it may be that individual will not be able to walk, but that will be very much natural for that individual unless that individual compares himself with the individuals those are walking. Are you able to comprehend, Vinal, this one?
Yes, yes.
So
So even for someone who has certain incapacities, even for that person, if it is, going with the what is of that situation, then even that in itself is a homeostatic state.
yes. Yes. By itself, it actually remains in homeostasis. And with the ideas of comparison primarily, the conflict starts. Then the homeostasis gets disturbed, and in loop it happens. So otherwise, naturally, the homeostasis is maintained primarily. So there is a natural knack in everything to move towards homeostasis and reducing the conflict on its own. So with this observation, can we bring understanding about my own conflict and just look at it? Just look at it, how it moves. How it moves, whatsoever the conflict may be. The conflict could be in terms of health issues, physical health issues, in terms of our mental issues, which is actually a physical issues. Now we know that mental issues are actually a physiological sensational issue that we start considering as mental issue. So when we understand this, can I look at it so that I can observe the movement of it? Otherwise, what happens, when we bring some condition to curb the conflict, as we discussed, that modifying the action, denying the sensation, or intellectualizing the perception. Through these, when we bring some change in conflict. Now, conflict happens because of some condition. Conflict happens because of some condition. Now, I am trying to bring some other condition to modify the conflict. Can a condition outgrow another condition? This is one of the bigger questions that we need to ask to ourselves. Most of the cases, we start considering another condition as a solution to my conditional life. That if I can bring this condition into my life, then this conditional life will be settled. Another layer of idea and believing that idea happens unknowingly. When we start imagining that this particular condition will solve my conflict. And conflict is a product of conditions only. Conflict is actually a product of conditions only. And I start imagining that another condition will solve these conditional problems. Can you reflect this, Renuka?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Mhm.
So what is a condition first? I will want to inquire on that.
Yes. So we can start with what is a conflict that I am considering now, and how that.
What is the condition?
No, I'm saying that we can start with understanding what is a conflict. Then we'll definitely understand that the conflict is a conditional experience. Because of a condition that I have put in, I'm experiencing this conflict. So basically, that condition is some idea, which is, again, we are narrowing down to that, which we have never questioned. It is burdened onto ourselves for its assimilation, which never happens. So condition basically is a peripheral modification. Condition basically is a peripheral modification with an objective, with a pre-decided goal to achieve. Isn't it? I'm just trying to understand. Condition. What is a condition? Nandini? Shanta?
I'm unable to comprehend these things.
So when you hear the word condition, what comes to your mind? A list of rules?
Yeah.
Right?
List of rules. I'm learning myself.
Yes.
List of rules. Now, why this list has been sketched?
It is because of an idea that I will be
Yes.
having in my mind to
So
achieve
it
something.
considered of achieving something. So we have created a goal of achieving something.
Yeah.
Now the question here one can ask that what next? After I achieve it, what next?
It will be a still bigger goal that I'll be getting in my head. And again, some more burdening about myself.
So achievement itself is an imagination that I'm sketching for myself. And I'm just changing the standpoint after each achievement, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Isn't it a bluffing to ourselves?
Yes, for sure. Bluffing.
That I bluff myself for some time to achieve something and bring some rules. Yes.
Unknowingly, we put that as our goal, knowingly or unknowingly, but inside we feel, a kind of lot of satisfaction that we get when we achieve that goal. Like that, we move on. But even after that achievement, again, a quite bigger goal we will put on. Like that, it continues.
Yes, yes. And all of our sensation, if we look at closely, are conditional end of the day. Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, like, for example, if I'm sleeping and I'm able to sleep with a mosquito net, so that is a condition that it's a very conditional sleep in that sense, because only when there is a mosquito net am I able to get a sound sleep. So then there is an objective to sleep.
Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful.
Can you?
Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. So every of these kind of sensation, Shanta, could you comprehend the question from Bina?
Like, to achieve something, I put a condition to myself.
Yes.
And
yes.
after achieving that goal also, again, the goal becomes still more bigger. I put on. So it is like an endless loop I enter into.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'll never be satisfied.
But the question Binal brought into is a very simple scenario. She is proposing.
Yeah.
She is saying that she is not able to achieve a sound sleep without mosquito net.
Yeah.
Right. So can we inquire together about the validity of these kind of scenarios? Now, any scenario, the thumb rule or a loose framework, if we talk about the inquiry, which will understand at the deeper level the pattern of inquiry, maybe after the session. So what happens that any scenario needs to be looked at about its source, from where it is coming, whether it is driven physically or whether it is driven mentally. Now, mosquito net, if we dive deep into exploring the validity or the functionality of a mosquito net, that's very simple thing. It's a simple physics. It's a mosquito net which protects you from mosquito. It's a physical protection that one is seeking.
Yeah.
Physical protection. Now, which is very much natural. It's a survival need. The physical protection is considered as a survival need.
That is natural.
That is pretty natural, and it doesn't cause any obsession if it is at the physical level. Now one may transport this into mental obsession also. So one can probe into that. There will be some season or some days where there is no mosquito at all in a year or in a place where one is able to sleep or not. That will bring some clarity whether this dependency of mosquito net is physically driven or mentally driven. Whether I have created a mental dependency on the mosquito net or a physical dependency on the mosquito net. Are you able to comprehend, Binam? If I'm not able to sleep, even there is no mosquito and without mosquito net, then it needs to be observed.
I've seen that if there are mosquitoes and then there is no mosquito net, then there is a dependency that I would want.
If there is a mosquito, there are mosquitoes, then there is a dependency. This is a physical dependency. There is no mental element here. It's a very much physical mosquitoes that you are trying to avoid.
But it also becomes conditional because not everywhere do I get access to it, or not everywhere can I?
No, it's
Take it
not
down.
the dependency. As you are explaining, I'm not sure internally what is happening, but as you are explaining, it is not dependency on the mosquito net. It is a state of being to protect oneself from mosquito bite. Do you still think that it is a dependency on the mosquito net?
I'm only wondering that even if it is, say, a physical dependency, which I do consider, at least in my case, it is still conditional in some way. As in, and even if the
No,
source is,
what is your focus? Your focus is the mosquito net or the mosquito? This needs to be inquired. Like, let's not bring an assumption of mental dependency. What is your focus when you look at this whole phenomena that is happening? When you look at your sensation, there is a concern of mosquito net or mosquito, which you are able to see.
that, I mean, the whole thing is revolving around me keeping mosquitoes at bay. So
Yes.
that, yeah.
So mosquito net is not the primary concern that you see when
It
you.
could be some other thing also. If not mosquito net, then maybe natural repellent or something to kind of.
Yeah. So are you trying to propose an endurance towards mosquito? That despite a mosquito biting me, I should sleep sound? Are you proposing that?
Somewhere it was going towards there, because I felt that even there is dependency, howsoever natural, on something to.
No, it's a dependency. What do you call dependency? Let's dig there. You know, what do you call dependency? The natural physical response, like you have to eat food, right? You'll be having breakfast or lunch whatsoever. So is it a dependency on that food, or it's a natural response, natural physical response?
Natural physical response.
So protecting oneself from this physical harm is a natural response. How can we term this as a dependency or condition? The condition, dependency are all mental games. You know, when we actually inquire deep, then the clarity evolves, clarity emerges. Are you able to comprehend somewhat?
In my case, even I am very much used to, use the mosquito net. But in my home, my mother and my children and all, they sleep without mosquito net. So I feel I have a dependency on mosquito net. But the purpose is to to get sound sleep and avoid disturbance from the mosquitoes. But
And is
when
there
I
actual mosquitoes?
yeah, it is there. But
Yes.
they can sleep without mosquito net. But I am not.
They are not bitten.
Yeah. They can sleep.
They
switch
use
on
all
fan.
out or something, that repellent.
Yeah, they use all out, and
Yes.
also they switch on fans. But for me, even if I switch on fans or put on all out, but I can't sleep. So
And
I have
have you asked yourself why?
even if a small one also bites, I can't get a good sleep. And I have a thought that because I have O positive blood, they bite me. Even my son's is different, but my mother's is O positive. But for her, she's okay with that. But I'm not.
So you have
I
an
don't know.
idea that mosquitoes like O positive blood.
Someone
And
had told, but even
yes, and you
whether I
believed it.
believe it
And
or
you
not,
believed it, right?
no, what I'm not certain about it. But the thing is, I have a belief that they will bite me somehow. Even if a small mosquito bites me, I get disturbed.
So in this process, Mhm.
Whether mosquitoes are there or not, I always use mosquito net.
So this is what we need to observe closely, that whether actually it is happening or I'm imagining. This is a very pertinent thing. Like the mosquito will bite and mosquito may bite.
Yeah.
Two brings a different sensation within me. Do you see it?
Yeah.
So when we bring this tentativeness, when we tell ourselves that mosquito will bite, that means
Yeah.
it's the conclusion that I'm proposing.
Yeah.
And the conclusion means it is a repeated sensation.
Yes.
If we bring an understanding about this
What is
proposal,
the sensation conclusion in this case?
that
Conclusion.
mosquito will surely bite me.
That is a conclusion, but
That is-
how is it a sensation in the body?
Conclusion means a sensation because I'm not asking question to this proposal. Suppose somebody is proposing that don't go there, a mosquito will bite you. Now, this has not happened. This is just a proposal of the future. Try and understand this. This is a proposal of future that mosquito will happen. Somebody is proposing. Now, in this proposal, there is a certainty. There is a certainty. But as a fact, the event has not occurred. So, till the event has occurred, it is uncertain as a fact. Are you able to understand the difference between the certainty and uncertain?
You said that sensation is something, which is like in the realm of all those 5 things: light, touch, hearing.
No. Let's try and understand the certainty and the uncertainty, the conclusion and non-conclusion, conclusion and tentativity. So now, before the event has occurred, some proposal has come as if that this is going to happen. Now, before it has actually happened, how can I conclude that this is going to happen for sure? Do you see this?
So that is an idea, not a sensation.
This is an idea, but when the idea will bring that it may happen, a tentativity, then the idea is dynamic. Idea gets stagnated when it is concluded. When we deny the other possibilities and focus on a single possibility, it happens only when we have a sensation towards that particular possibility.
So in this case, the person is having a sensation that I will be bitten by a mosquito. I will have
for
that
sure.
Mosquito bite.
For sure is negotiated in language. The word for sure is negotiated in language, but actually there is a conclusion when we say that I will be bitten by mosquito. I may get bitten. Yes, I may get bitten. Yes, please go on.
So it has come from the realm of idea to
sensation.
The conclusion.
Idea to sensation. There is some chemical change when I am confronted with this idea. There is a chemical change, and hence there is a conclusion. All the possibilities are equal till it happens. But I am giving extra importance to one possibility. Why I am giving? Because that is creating some sensation with it.
So this particular person, just like Shanta, was telling that although other people are sleeping in the same room with fan and other means.
No, they have other measures, all out and all.
Okay, even if she has the other measures she's mentioned, the same measures she's having, but she is very sensitive